What's going on, everybody? This is Jared Russo, the gaming editor for GeekBinge.com, coming to you with a video review of Ultra Street Fighter 4. And if you're watching this on the YouTube page, thank you for subscribing. And if you're watching this above the written review of the page on GeekBinge, you should go check out our YouTube channel. But I'll talk about that at the end. Anyways, we have a game to talk about. I think a game. Technically, it's a DLC upgrade for a game, but eventually there'll be a disc, so I'm just going to call it a new game, because that's really what it is. I guess to the layman, Ultra Street Fighter 4 seems like a yearly, an annual update, a sort of rebalancing and maybe some odds and ends thrown in, but to people who've been playing this game for literally 6 or 7 years, it's a completely new game, and I mean that in like the most sincere way. Like, this is the swan song of Capcom. This is probably the finest thing that they have put out, I would say almost in a decade. Like, I think this might be the best Capcom game since Resident Evil 4. This is absolutely the most definitive, best, most upgraded, and just well-rounded fighting game that they've almost ever made, and it's really astounding to think that this game came out in the arcades in 2007 and came out on consoles in 2008, and not only kind of revitalized the fighting game community, it revitalized the scene, it just blew up in a way that no one had ever thought, and it was the linchpin for a lot of the changes in the FGC. And we've come a long way, and there's been a lot of the rise of eSports come along, and Twitch, and we're getting bigger and better and growing and changing every day. But it all sort of starts and ends with the games that we're playing, and if they weren't good, we wouldn't care. If we didn't enjoy playing these games, and if they weren't good in our eyes, in our minds, then we wouldn't, we would all just go play Halo or Dota or something. But specifically with Ultra, $15, you pay the money, it changes your Super Street Fighter 4 disc or your download or your AE disc or download, and morphs it into, I think, just the best version of Street Fighter 4 that Capcom has ever made. The roster is 44 characters now. I think I got that right. 5 of them are new. 4 are technically recycled from Cross Tekken, but they're much better than they are in Cross Tekken. They're much more fun to play as, and they kind of fit the model. I feel like better than in Cross Tekken. And the whole cast is viable. Everybody got buffs, and despite the few nerfs here and there, everyone is usable. And it really creates no longer a game with tiers. I mean, maybe there'll be tiers that come down the road, but for right now, everyone's really good, and I feel like you could just pick up the character you want to play and do well, and not have to pick a character who is really good or has really good matchups. You can just try to figure it out. And in terms of the new stuff that they added in double Ultra with a W, like Ultra combo. You get to use one of your 2 Ultra combos. You get to just like pick which one we want to use, which gives you a lot of versatility, but that comes at the price of reduced damage. This is good for a lot of characters. It's not great. I mean, it's not bad for anybody. It's maybe just not like usable. But then again, maybe you'll come up with new technology. Maybe there'll be some crazy new option select or something. But that seems to be really great. I've been using it with Rolento a lot. It's good for characters who have fireballs, because then you can, do the take no prisoners and catch them by surprise. Almost full screen is it's pretty fast. Or you can just use it after EX Rekkas, to juggle for damage. They also added delay wake up, which is not just like a mind game gimmick. It's not like an incentive to like not do setups anymore. It really is like a good tool to kind of catch people by surprise who are trying to like, safe jump you or something like that, or do some sort of weird vortex shenanigans if they haven't kind of gotten that out of their systems. There are no unblockables anymore. That's gone. I'm sure maybe somebody will find something very obscure, but for the most part, I think I haven't seen anything unblockables. I mean, I play Guile as my main, and he was like the 1-2 unblockable, and I haven't been hit with anything stupid so far, which that's pretty great. And the other thing that they added is Red Focus, which at first I didn't know what to think, but then in a match, I was playing a Blanca, and he Ultra Won, and I just Red Focused the whole thing and punished him for the win, and I felt so good. And all I try to do now is catch people doing, E-Honda hand slaps or something dumb, and I can just Red Focus them into a big, meaty Ultra combo for damage. And these new additions are actually really nice. They're not the biggest, earth-shattering, world-changing things, But they add a nice layer of strategy and depth, and they kind of give a lot of characters, like charge characters, who were needing of like big damage. The red focus helps, and it kind of makes command grab characters a whole lot scarier than before. I just it's not fluffy, and I think a lot of what Capcom did isn't fluffy. It's they added in new music, and they added in new announcer quips, and they added in new modes, and they added in online training and edition select, and they added so much, and they just refined it to such a T. It really is just like the perfect version. I mean, the only thing that they could have probably added is online edition select. That would have been nice. And the option to hold down start to pause in a match so that tournaments don't have that stupid pause. Oops, who paused it thing. Cross Tekken had that, I believe. But everything else is great. Not having to go through menus to keep playing online. You can just sit in training, practice your combos, have somebody just pop in. That's fantastic. The net code is still as great as ever. Like, the basic game is unchanged. Like, it is just it's still the core of Street Fighter 4, or technically Super Street Fighter 4. And they didn't have to do anything crazy. I mean, they went out, Capcom hired Combo Fiend. They reached out to the community. They asked for what they wanted, and they got everyone's feedback. And they went to every tournament they could with the beta, and they made the game as good as they could possibly get it. And it really does show off how much care they put into the game. I mean, everything is for the most part rebalanced. Characters who were bad are good. They're usable, and the characters who were like top tier, even though they got nerfs. Cammy is still really good. Fei Long is still usable. I'm trying to think of like who are the top. Akuma, you can still play Akuma. Sakura, Ibuki. They're not like nerfed to hell. I remember when AE turned into 2012, like, it was just like, whoops, sorry. Yun and Yang was like, whoops, sorry everybody, and that was a real shame. But now everyone's sort of back. And that's sort of like the main meat and potatoes of like this DLC. It's like, well, listen, everyone's rebalanced, so you got to buy it. And I feel like a lot of times when it comes to these updates, it feels like you're handcuffed to it. It's like, well, I like this game. If you're not overly attached to it, it's like, well, I got to buy it because, I won't have the newest version. I won't be able to play with people, and it's either I have to bail or just put up the money. But I don't feel like Capcom is kind of handcuffing you to anything. I feel like they really put out the best possible yearly update they could have possibly done. Like, it really is worth the money. Absolutely. Like, they are not forcing you into anything. You should want to buy this game. They are incentivizing you to buy this game, and I feel like you should buy this game. This is just world-class stuff right here. And when the game comes out on disc, we're probably not going to do a review. We might update the review, but it's $40. It comes with every single costume pack ever made, which is, I'm sure, well over $150. That's worth it for sure. I just don't see any downside to this game other than, like, you could theoretically say, like, oh, well, all the new stages are from Cross Tekken. Yeah, but they're really great stages. I mean, they don't have, like, the multi-tiered, like, moving around that Cross Tekken did, but that's a little distracting. Let's be honest. Let's be real. It's a little distracting. And yeah, like, 4 of the 5 new characters are from Cross Tekken, and one of them is a literal and figurative clone of Cammy. But, the Capra has her own moveset, and she's a really unique character that doesn't really do typical Cammy stuff, since she doesn't really have like an easy dive kick. She's a charge character, which I love, by the way. Love charge characters. And the other 4 characters are way better, and they're way different because they had Elena and Hugo and Poison and Rolento. They have different ultras, and they have a new focus attack. They didn't have that in Cross Tekken, and they have like a super. And it's different. They're different characters in a different game, and I feel like Rolento's is okay. Poison, I feel like, has the potential to be really, really good. Elena's great, and Hugo is super divisive, but he could turn out to be an absolute monster if you don't know what you're doing. So that's, they're all very different. They don't bring anything old to the table. They kind of bring something new to the table. Hugo is like a crazy corner pressure monster. It's a giant freak. He's a monster. Elena's this really, really insanely good high-low mix-up character, which is like super fast, good normals, and like a weird healing ultra. I think that's cool. And Poison is like this. She's like the oddest Ryu clone. Because she's like really good keep away, but she has really good buttons. But she also has like Rekkas, and she's interesting. I like her. And then I've been playing Rolento a lot. He's just like this odd mobile hit and run wacky character with like good frame traps and counter hit setups and ultra and all sorts of like counters and just like weird mobile tools. And I also play Blanca, so I guess that's why I like him, because you can just like move around a lot. Oh, speaking of which, Blanca and Poison, there you go. I should also mention I got this footage from SSF4 Evo's channel, which I feel like is a person who uploads Yoga Flame matches into compilations. You should definitely go check out those two people on YouTube. I shamelessly stole from them, but I subscribe to them and I love them. So definitely props to those guys. And I feel like I'm wrapping up, so that's about it. This game is a 10. Ultra Street Fighter 4 right now. I've been playing it for way, way too much. It came out on Tuesday, June the 3rd or whatever. I don't know when you're going to be watching this. It could be in the future. So that's when it came out, and I have been playing it for like 8 to 10 hours every single day, nonstop. I got up to like the 20th best Guile on Xbox Live. I got up to like C+ rank, and I've just been playing Dudley and Rolento and Blanca and Vega and all these characters who are like really good now. Having a blast. This is great. I'm super hyped watching all the tournaments on Twitch. It's fucking amazing. This is a 10. Absolutely go buy this game. This June, I hope you're watching this in the month of June in 2014, because Arcade Edition is going to be free for Games for Gold and Xbox Live on 360. So go get that for free. Go buy Ultra. Pick up this game if you don't like fighting games. This is the best game to jump into if you're a beginner, other than maybe Dive Kick. Just play this game. It's great. It's great fun. Go learn it. Go play it with your friends. Go play it online. Go into online training. Train with your friends online. Oh my god, is that a godsend? Thank you, Combo Fiend and Capcom and Ono, for putting that into this game. I have nothing but glowing things to say about Ultra. I really do. I mean, you're watching these Chun-Li combos, these lightning legs. When was the last time somebody used Chun-Li legitimately? I don't know, like 2010? Like, it's just so great to just see a variety of characters online, and they're all good, and it just like they just feel like different characters, and this feels like a different game. And I know that if you're a cynic or somebody who doesn't understand fighting games, it's like, oh, how can that be the case? It looks exactly the same. The difference is in the details, and Capcom, they focused on every single possible detail that they could, man. They refined everything. And for that, I have to give them the highest score that I can, and they are worthy of all of my money and praise. Please go support them. Jump into the FGC, the fighting game community. Get your salty runbacks. Get blown up. Get bopped. Stay free. I'm Jared Russo. I'm the gaming editor for Geek Binge. You can go to youtube.com/geekbingevideos, twitch.tv/geekbinge. I don't know if I'll be able to stream Ultra Street Fighter 4. I'm sure we will in the future. We're streaming also all sorts of other games. And other than that, we have a Geek Bench as a gaming podcast hosted by me. I'll be talking more about Ultra in the future. It's called Scream Bites. Bites is spelled with a Y because it's a pun. It's on iTunes. You can go subscribe to that. And go to geekbench.com. Check out all of this stuff and more. And I guess I will leave you with a bit more footage of Zangief versus DeCapre before I end this video review, because I'm going to milk my 15 minutes as long as I can. Because I feel like that's the minimum amount of time I have, or the maximum amount of time I have to make YouTube videos. Man, so good. This right now is my game of the year. Like, I've been playing Hearthstone like every day nonstop, playing shit tons of Titanfall, and I don't know what's coming out this fall. Everything keeps getting delayed, but this is the game I feel like I will keep coming back to, because I kept coming back to Street Fighter for the last 5 or 6 years, and I see no reason to stop. I don't feel like there's a need to come out with a new Street Fighter legit game for another year or two. As long as it's on next gen, that's fine. But like, Ultra's where it's at, and I feel like this game has legs, unlike Marvel or other fighting games that may be getting old or stale. Somehow Melee is still going 15 years later, but Ultra's going to be around for a while, and that's great to see. So that is it. That is the video review. Thank you for watching, and stay free.